Today's video sponsor is GGG. We're using my SKG discount code leads to a 25% off across several products, making a Windows 10 serial key only $16. After the payment, you'll receive the key in your account and all you need to do is to introduce it in your Windows settings and bam! You have an activated system. And so here we are right now, guys, on the first episode of PC Doctor once again. And as I told you before, this is basically a kind of a series. I'm trying to implement this series on the channel once a month, at least for the start, where I actually give you tips for your builds and try to troubleshoot your builds, the problems that you actually have on your builds, your computers, several types of problems like stutters, issues that you might have with overclocking and so on. That's what these series serve for, okay? And I will do like 4 or 5 per video, okay, 4 or 5 troubleshoots per video. We already have some, like 12 or 13, and you can send yours to agpcdoctor@gmail.com. I don't know how to say that symbol in English. We say in Portuguese arroba, so it's completely different. NANI? So the first email from NKA, maybe Nick, something I don't really know. This is my setup, bro, it's pretty sick. You see me comment on your channel under the nice keyboard Alan, so it's not Nick, it's N for nice, K for keyboard and so on. Thanks for looking. And then he sends the pictures later. And he says as well, I guess I have a few, like the TV there. I have a wall mount. it's the T. I have a wall mount, but I don't wanna mount it above me so I don't kill my neck. But it would waste so much less space. Okay, I understand now. Or I'm thinking a whole other desk on the left to make me just have more room. I might do both of these and run 3 monitors, I don't know, what do you think? And I also have a problem of my RGB case. As you can see, I have a 3090 Ti and it gets warm. By the way, the 3090 Ti didn't feel that much better than my old 3060, so the problems already start here. Kinda dumb for a 2K card. But I need a new case. But I want it to have good airflow, be cheap, so from $70 to $100, and made well and have glass side panel to show off my RGB. This is my first RGB PC, so I want to go all out with some fans, some nice fans, I believe. My last PCs had no lights whatsoever. Okay, we have the monitor here, the second monitor. Maybe this is the wall mount. If you kind of have the wall mount, or at least you have the wall mount, but you didn't install it yet, it's kind of interesting to see that you still have the base of the monitor. If you are gonna use the wall mount, just remove the base of the monitor. It looks strange. No mean to be harmful, but it does look strange. An UPS, some retro things, some retro keyboards, maybe. Some soda. As for the next picture, what do you have on the next picture? Okay, now we have the PC build. This is more of my thing. Well, there's the 3090 Ti. That's a pretty huge card, but if it actually gets warmer, it's because it's a 3090 Ti. And it depends on what you actually think warm is. 75 degrees. No issues at all. 75 degrees is actually pretty normal for a card like this one. Even 80 degrees to some extent if you actually have a very high ambient temperature, like let's say 30 degrees. 80 degrees with a card like this will be completely normal. By the way, I did notice that you have your PC turned on, but this fan is actually turned off. So this is bad because you have this one, the GPU produces heat, it actually sends the heat to this side, so the back side, to the side panel side, and a little bit to the top. And then you have your all-in-one water cooling system that I don't really understand if it is... Yes, I can't really understand if you have one fan for each side, or the fans are in the same side but you just have these metal grills that really don't serve for anything, really, if you have these just for the sake of having them. Because, I mean, they don't serve really anything, you just can take them off because they're useless. As for the fans, I do hope you have two fans pushing the air through the radiator. So the fans should be pushing the air from here to there, okay? Through the radiator. On the other side, if you have one fan pushing through the radiator and another one pulling it, things will not be good, because in terms of airflow you will kind of create a vortex, because you are pulling here and you are pushing there, okay? It won't work properly, okay? In terms of airflow it won't work properly, so you want two fans pushing through the radiator, and that's how you do things. As for this fan, it is actually important that you have this fan connected and working, because it will remove the heat that comes from the GPU's backplate here, okay, the heat that will rise or at least expand and will go through here, so it's a good thing to have this fan working properly. And by the way, your case doesn't have mesh in the front from what I saw, so it is a closed case. It is a closed case, so the airflow will be much worse. Getting something like a Fentex P400A or a P500A, those cases are very good for their price. They have lots of good specs, lots of good features, and they are not expensive at all, so that's a good thing if you ask me. Overall, the mesh front panel is the best that you can get in terms of performance. This is what you should do in your build, by the way, so that's all the things that I can tell you. And by the way, if you do not have the side panel open, if you don't run the side panel like this all the times, then you might consider actually, I mean, kind of replacing the build a bit to the front if possible, okay, in order to not use this fan to actually push the warm air to the wall, because it will be kind of stuck here, and you want it to expand, okay? So far, this is my opinion. As for the other pictures, nice build, okay, a good chair, nice, not a gaming chair, a good chair. Microphone, the computer here, it looks kind of retro, but I kind of like it actually. Should do a wall mount, okay, you can put a wall mount, you can get a new desk, that would be cool. Maybe a desk with a higher height, okay, like this, so you can do the wall mount here and call it a day. I mean, it would look much better with a newer desk and the wall mounts done properly, much better, yeah. And the second one is from Nick. Hey Ancient Gameplays, you can use everything I send for videos, and thanks if you are replying, hope my English is okay. Your English is okay, but English doesn't actually, this one is not necessary. Not being picky, I'm trying to help you, because people help me every day. English is not my main language, so I don't even speak well Portuguese, let alone English. I can only send you 5 pics per email, so I'm sending you a second mail with the rest of the pics. This is my setup. Specs: the RX 6700 XT GB undervolted and overclocked with a 2650 megahertz, and a VRAM to 2100 MHz. CPU Ryzen 5 3600, and as for the RAM, we have 2x 8GB DDR4 3200 MHz with XMP enabled. Mainboard, the ASRock PSU 750 watts, be quiet, 6 months old. If it is at least something like bronze qualified or silver, it would be fine. One Toshiba HDD 1TB, one M2 970 1TB, another SATA SSD 250 GB, and another SATA SSD 250 GB. We also have a monitor on the left side, which is 4K 60Hz HDR, and another one 1080p 140Hz. Now this is interesting because that's a lot of difference in terms of refresh rates, and for me it would be kind of annoying, or at least odd, to actually pass from 60 Hz on my left monitor to 144 Hz. And as for my main monitor, I would like my main monitor to be the biggest one, so you are actually using the smallest one as your main monitor for gaming, I assume, since you have 1080p 144 Hz. Damn, I'm tired today. And it is kind of odd, okay? But let's see the problem. My problem, I think my CPU is getting too weak. It needs another O here. Too weak, and I don't know which to pick next, because I want something future-proof. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think I should take? Okay, and my second problem, I'm having problems with micro stuttering in almost every game on both monitors, and I do not know what it could be. I already reinstalled Windows 10 and I have the newest AMD drivers and BIOS updated as well. Greetings from Germany, Nicholas. Okay. Well, your CPU will suffice for, let's say, 60, 80, 100 FPS in some games with the current kit that you have with 3200 MHz with XMP enabled. But as soon as you want to go higher than that, well, it will definitely get short in terms of high FPS numbers. You can get the max for the AM4 build without needing to spend more money, at least on a motherboard and RAM kit. Just get the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, and if you don't want that, you can just get the 5600 non-X, because it is at a very good price and it will already be much faster than the 3600 in terms, and I repeat, in terms of high FPS numbers. Now, as for the photos, we start with a photo of the connections. Okay, seems nice. Now we have the build. Now this build actually looks very clean. It looks very clean. Okay, clean, just a clean desk, standard clean desk with the headphones, 2 monitors. I do believe that by what I see here, your position is kind of wrong. You should have the monitors a bit higher, I believe, yes, or at least your chair a bit lower, so you can actually look like this to the monitor instead of doing this or doing that, okay? It should be like this, like I'm doing right now, looking at the monitor like this in front, okay? But it does look good. It's a simple desk, simple setup, it looks good. 27 inches, I believe, and 24 inches. As for the next one, we have the GPU, good one, since we have split cables, so we're not using pigtails, as you should call them, or as people call them. We're using 2 separate cables for the GPU. This is good, and it will kind of, let's say, mitigate some of the problems that you might have. Okay, stutterings may actually be caused by this, so the power supply not being able to supply enough power with just 1 rail, and using 2 rails, so 2 separate cables, is the best option that you can choose from. So great. As for the next picture, so the SATA SSDs, the HDD of 1 TB, the Toshiba one, nice. Sorry. So now we have the build. RAM well seated, so slot 2 and slot 4 for actually using the first slot, which is the A2 and B2. Nice, looks good. Yes, looks good. Nvme. Nice. GPU once again. The fans also seem nice, at least this fan. It's like pulling hair from the inside the build to the outside. So far so good. And that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one, but we have more on the other one. So yes, the back of the computer. If you want a bit more of cable management, you can just do this. So these cables, it can use zip ties, for example, and these cables, you put them through here. Okay, you move the connector, the fan. It's not the connector, the fan controller or the RGB controller. You move it there, for example, and then you push all the cables through here. And these cables that come from this side, so cables like the motherboard connection cable, the motherboard power to the CPU, and so on, you can put them through here, okay? If they're long enough, you can put them through here, and it will look much better, okay? Simple to do and much better. Next photo. So the cable management that you have, not beside, below the table. I mean, it's not that bad. It's it's kind of something that you do if you don't want to spend that much time on it, and it just works. I mean, sincerely, it just works. It doesn't look that great, but you're not looking below the table all the time. Actually, almost no time. And looking from above, you can't actually see it. And like I told you, it just works. So it's great.
Contact hardening just works. The Umbra works. The Penumbra works. Everything just works. Everything just works. Everything just works. It just works. Everything just works. Global illumination just works. Ambient occlusion just works. Just work.
And then the back of the computer with the I/O panel, so lots of USBs. Okay, we have a nice space in between the build and the wall, so that seems nice. So yeah, basically that's it. So Nicholas, for your first problem, yes, you can just upgrade the CPU. It's the better thing to do if you can, of course, if you can. As for the micro stutterings, it may be lots of things. Actually, I know that you have all drivers installed, Windows 10 installed, and anyway. By the way, when you reinstall the AMD drivers, they will actually do the shader cache loading, meaning that you'll actually have to wait some time till the shaders get loaded, and then it will perform smoothly. I do believe that your issue might be with the RAM, okay? You might have unstable XMP profiles, because that happens a lot more than people think actually, so just go to your BIOS, raise the RAM voltage to, let's say, 1.4 and the sock voltage to, let's say, 1.1 volts, and try again. If you keep having stutterings, then I would look at your GPU, look at the hotspot temperatures, because those gigabyte versions are known to actually cause some problems in terms of temperature. So check your hotspot temperatures with WH-Info64 and raise the RAM voltage to 1.4 once again, and the CPU sock voltage, sorry, to 1.1 volts. That should solve your issues, okay? If the stutterings are actually coming from this. If you are running your games on your HDD, then it also may come from the HDD, because like I show in this video, some games they just need an SSD for data streaming. Otherwise, even with a fast HDD, they will stutter a lot when loading new phases of the maps, for example, or new assets. So yeah, try these tips. The second one is from Roland. I don't really know how to pronounce the last name, so I will not do it. Monitor Lenovo G27K30, 27 inches, 165 Hz, 1440p FreeSync, VA, a little of black smearing, yes, I do know, but more contrast, so it's a trade-off, depends on what you like. Speakers, the Creative T60, mouse, Cooler Master Sentinel 3, nice. Keyboard, 65 wired, and Bluetooth Dario EK871, nice. I just did a video some days ago, sorry, of the 861 from Dario. I'm actually using it right now, so yeah, it's kind of nice actually. I like it. The case is a Lian Li Lancool 215 PSU Be Quiet Pure Power 11 FM 750 watts, fully modular, nice. An MSI B450M mortar, not bad as well. And the CPU, we have the 5800X 3D Combo Strike 3 with PBO minus 30. So take a note of it at the PBO minus 30, because it might lead to some issues. Anyway, we have even thermal paste. We have thermal paste here. RAM, we have a tuned B-die dual rank, 2x 16 GB FCLK, maybe timings held back by the lack of PLL voltage control in BIOS. FCLK 2000 possible, I think, as it boots into Windows. Now this is nice. We're gonna talk a bit about this. As for the GPU, we have the PNY 4070 Ti with the best 4070 Ti cooler. Okay, that's nice. SSD, blah blah blah. So PC is dead silent while gaming, even benchmarking for hours. GPU coil whine can be a bish sometimes, a bit. I mean, bitch. That's what he meant, maybe. And sometimes at high FPS, okay? At high FPS numbers, it also, the coil whine also comes from the motherboard and the CPU, not the GPU itself, okay? It's a mix of those things. PS, I don't mind the disconnected exhaust fan, it makes funny noises, I need to RMA it, and CPU fan also, okay? I bought them for looks, not performance. But they're shitty quality. Well, that's a mistake already. Also, don't mind the cable management. I won't, I'll try at least. The issue is sometimes when I power on my monitor DisplayPort, it says input not supported. It was fine with the RX 6800 and 5700 XT driver, update didn't help, okay? It was fine with both of these, but with the 4070 Ti it just doesn't work as well. IDDU, the installed monitor driver, did all the good stuff, I can't notice anything different, but I also don't play too much. Honestly, I'm disappointed in modern games, but that's another story. Yes, we both are, but anyway, as you can see, Nvidia cards also have issues. Okay, help 1. I'd like to unlock PLL voltage control in UEFI BIOS. Okay, I don't even need to read the rest of this because I know what it is. You don't actually need to unlock the PLL voltage. What you need for FCLK to run at 2000 MHz is to actually have a good CPU sample, okay, with a good FCLK sample, so the die, it's actually a need, and then you need SOC voltage, okay? They will do 2000 MHz, but the thing here is the SOC voltage, not the PLL voltage per se. Just increase the SOC voltage to, let's say, 1.2. I know it's a lot, but that's what you need to actually stabilize. In some cases you need even more to stabilize 125, 1.3, yes, 1.3 volts on the SOC voltage. You may actually need more to stabilize the 2000 MHz FCLK. For me, it just isn't worth it. Just run it at 3733 MHz or at 3800 MHz and reduce the timings as much as you can, okay? That's the best thing you do because you don't need such high voltages, but you will need those voltages to actually stabilize 2000 FCLK on the 5800X or any 5000 series CPU. So for me, not worth it, okay? You can do it, but it takes a lot of voltage. And don't worry because 1.2 or 1.25 will most likely not hurt anything on the SOC on the CPU because the 5000 series actually have a different substrate of the die, so it kind of takes more voltage, okay? So 1.2 should be fine, 1.25 should be fine to some extent, but I just wouldn't do it. My opinion, just keep the 3733 MHz. Help 2. I have Intel AX210 Wi-Fi plus Bluetooth laptop module. I'd like to install the module on an adapter and connect the adapter to the motherboard MOBO via a PCIe riser. Somewhere far away from the GPU fans, but I don't think I have room under the GPU cooler for the riser. Any ideas? Now that's a different one and something that I'm not very used to, so I don't really know. I won't say I do because I don't really know. Help 3, I had two Windows 10 installed on the same driver for a short while. Do you know how to identify the boot and recovery partitions? They are not needed anymore. Now this is easy. This I can help you with. Just go to the search bar, go to msconfig. Sorry about that. Oh, this is not working somehow. msconfig. Bam, then you go to the boot and you see which system are you running, okay? It will appear 2 or 3 systems depending on what you have actually. Just go here, you see actual operating system, the one that you're running, and just select the other ones and press delete and you're good to go. You just boot to the one partition that you have or that you want to use. Done. As for the photos, they actually look good, okay? Your computer looks good, at least in the dark. Let's see more of them. Okay, now we have the Zen timings for your RAM. So yeah, just keep it this way. Just don't bother about the 4000 MHz RAM and 2000 MHz FCLK. It is just not worth it, believe me. Not worth it at all. Okay, mesh. A mesh case, nice, good airflow. Maybe 200mm or 240mm fans on the front with a mesh panel. So good airflow once again. As for the inside of the build, it actually looks good, so the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti, the connections here, they look nice, actually a good CPU cooler. The exhaust fan, once again, like I said, is not working, but it is important in terms of temperatures, but it's not working because it makes odd noise, maybe because of the quality of the fans. The RAMs are also positioned in the good spots, so 2 and 4, nice. CPU fan as well. It looks fine to me. Yeah. Connections as well. Nice. The keyboard, the same as mine, but in the black one. No, this is nice. So a mouse with a display to actually show the sensitivity and the DPI. That's nice. Never saw something like this. Nice. And the last one for this video, because I don't want to make videos longer than half an hour, is from DJ Lim, and I'm doing it because he is one of the viewers that is always on my videos, and he actually supports the channel. I mean, it's not like the value matters, but for me it's the attitude, so I'm gonna include them in this video as well. So, hi Fabio, per your request for us to send in photos of our rigs, whether there are any problems or not, attached are the photos of my second rig with the following specs. As for the CPU, we have the mighty AMD FX 8320 at stock. Man, stock, I never dare to overclock any of my CPUs, man. These CPUs live, and they were made to be overclocked. At least the 8320, you can get a pretty nice FPS boost if you actually overclock the 8320, but of course you'll also have a way higher power consumption, but that's the thing with these CPUs. I believe they were done in like 32 nanometers. We're now running 4 nanometers. They were done in 32 nanometers lithography, so yeah. As for the GPU, we also have the mighty XFX RX 4080 Black Edition. Oh my goodness! I got one of these for the 580, the Black Edition from XFX, and I bought them new, and oh my god, I bought 2 of them, the RX 570 and 580, and oh my god, these coolers were bad. I mean, really, really bad. I just sent them back, and I actually got 2 from Sapphire, both the 570 and 580, and they just worked wonderfully, so my god. As for the motherboard, we have the Asus MA78LM LX3 Plus. I actually had one of these. RAM 16GB, monitor AOC 2036 El Cheapo, El Cheapo 1600 x 900 LCD. Keyboard, once again, El Cheapo Aula Gaming Keyboard. Mouse, it's a Razer Death Adder. Essential, doesn't really matter. And casing, once again, El Cheapo Mini ITX. Mini ATX. My god, how can I be the PC doctor if I'm always making mistakes? Anyway, this rig was originally built 11 years ago. My god, time flies by. Initially, there are issues with VRM overheating. That's usual, but I've solved by tapping heatsinks in the pathetic VRMs, a blower fan blowing air directly over them. Yes, that's one of the things with these motherboards. Even more, the non-909X chipsets where the VRMs would just blow and throttle like hell with the FX CPUs. That's the only problem of the FX CPUs. Not the only problem, but one of the biggest problems of those CPUs were that people were actually getting cheap motherboards, and the VRMs just couldn't take all that power draw from the CPU, so they were thermal throttling like hell. Bad design, by the way. Blah 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 blah. Okay, let's just see them. Okay, I need to actually download the files. So as for the build, now that the files are downloaded, well, the case doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's El Cheapo, so it doesn't look that bad actually. It does not have much airflow on the top side, but it does have some here. So at least one fan can actually pull air through or at least pull air to the case. So that's not bad. For the second one, we have the El Cheapo AOC, the keyboard, and the Razer Death Adder with the build here. Actually, the case looks good. I mean, it obviously isn't that great in terms of airflow and so on, but it actually looks good for what it is, if it is actually a cheap one, and the same for the keyboard. The keyboard actually looks pretty nice. It's an Ola. I've seen this mark sometimes, and this brand, I mean markets in Portuguese. But yeah, it actually looks good. With the Logitech, I have one of these as well. It looks good for a simple second build computer. Okay, we have the XFX one here. My goodness, I actually hate these. We have the coolers, which are actually in this position because that's how the AM3 motherboards actually worked. So yeah, the building was on a strange position. You actually are pulling warm air from the GPU to actually pull it through the heatsink, so you're actually pulling warm air, so it will already be warmer than it should be, so the CPU temperatures will not be as they should be. So it's already wrong from design, but it is what it is, I guess. As for the fan, he actually told us this. So the fan is actually pulling air to directly to the VRMs, and you have this fan that should be exhaust. It is actually intake because it is taking in the cold air to actually use this blower to actually cool the VRMs. This is cool. This is cool. Okay, so we have cold air here, cold here, and putting to the VRMs. That's actually nice. Interesting one with a light power PSU. 650 watts, that in reality is like 500 watts when stressed, maybe 400 depending on the... Ah man, this brings me back memories. It actually looks great. For what it is, it looks great. So a simple and cheap build that will fulfill the needs of most people that just like to browse and play some games here and there. I mean, can't really complain. Any tips? Maybe a better monitor. Okay, a cheap 1080p monitor will be much better, 24 inches, FreeSync and so on. It will just do the job. Yeah, otherwise, it's great, simple, cheap. That's the point of it, I guess. And so guys, that's it for today's video. Sorry if the video was a bit dull, I mean, it was a bit boring, but that's what I can do for the first video of PC Doctor. I will try to improve at every video, actually, try to bring you better things, try to bring you better tips, better vocabulary, everything. I will just keep improving video after video like I did on the other videos. So it's me doing this alone, so I'm doing what I can. If you want your problems troubleshoot, or you just want, for example, some tips on your build, just send them to agpcdoctor@gmail.com, okay? Once again, I don't know how to say that symbol. We in Portuguese say arroba. Anyway, just send them to that email and I will do the next video on those as well. So yeah, that will be fine. Otherwise, once again, thanks a lot for watching and leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know, give me constructive criticism and just let me know what I can improve to make these videos feel better and a bit less dull and a bit less boring. At least that's what I'm aiming for. Thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video.